Hi children, and welcome to your Thursday maths. I can't believe it's Thursday already, it's flying by. Okay, so we have made our own balance scales on Monday. On Tuesday we tested them out and we picked 5 different toys to find out which was our heaviest and which was our lightest. And then yesterday you used your balance scales and you used non-standard units, so you chose something that was the same to find out how heavy each of your toys was. Now, your first job today is to go on a hunt in your kitchen, and I want you to find me 4 or 5 different food items. Now, it could be something that's loose, so it could be an apple, it could be a banana, it could be a packet of crisps, it could be a packet of rice. But remember, they need to not be too heavy, okay? Can be a can or a tin, okay? Might be a can of cat food. It might be a tin of baked beans. It might be some pasta, okay? So go and find some different items that you would like to weigh. Not too many. I'd say 4 or 5, okay? So I'm going to show you first. Before you go and do that, I want you to listen to the rest of this video. So today you will not be using your balance scales, okay? You're going to be using something that you might have in your kitchen, okay? Now, if you haven't got this in your kitchen, don't worry. You can use your balance scales, okay? And you can still measure in non-standard units. But if in your kitchen you have a set of scales, so this is a set of digital scales, you can use them absolutely fine. Or in your kitchen, if you've got a set of manual scales, okay, so this is the one with the pin that goes all the way round, and this is what we're going to be using today to weigh our things. Now today we're not going to record anything. We're just going to get used to using different ways of weighing. So yesterday we used non-standard, okay, so I used cubes in my video, and I had to work out how many cubes was my dinosaur, how many cubes was my egg. Okay, so you've done lots of that at home, I have seen on Tapestry. Now, I'm not going to be using my digital scales today, okay? I'm going to be using my manual scales, and this is the one with the pin. Now, if I hold it up nice and close, you can see we have got lots of numbers. So when I put the top on, where the top pin should be sitting on my 0. Now, when we measure in weight, it's usually grams, okay, or kilograms. But today we're going to be looking at the grams, okay, because that's how we measure. A bit like when we measure using a ruler, we measure in centimetres, okay. So see how long something is, we use centimetres. When we're weighing something, we use grams. And all we do is do a G for grams, okay. And as you can see on here, we've got a little G next to some of my numbers. Now, on my numbers on this scales are quite big. This is why you might need a little bit of help from an adult today. But I'm sure you'll be able to work out some of the numbers. So what we're going to do is I've gone and had a look in my lunch bag and in the classroom next door in our little staff room. And I've picked some food that I'd like to find out how much they weigh. So I've got my banana. Okay, now when you're measuring the banana, you need to put it in nice and carefully, because if you drop it in, you might break the scale. Okay, so if I put my banana in, I'm just going to tilt my camera down so you can see the scales are not me. Okay, so there's my scale. I'm going to pop my banana in the top, and what you'll see is you'll see that the pin starts to move. Can you see? Okay, can you see that it went from 0 and it's moved across to up here? Now I'm doing it looking through my computer, so it's nearly, this big number here, 150 grams. So it's just under 150 grams. So I would say it's about 148 grams, my banana. So my banana weighs 148 grams. Now, what I need to do now is, all we're doing today is we're just practicing with our weighing scales. But I want you to think, okay, so I've got my banana in, and my next object is, oh, I can't wait to eat this later, is my favourite chocolate. It's a flake, okay, so one of my favourite chocolates. Now, I need to think, I've weighed my banana, it's 140 grams. Do I think my flake is going to weigh more than my banana or less than my banana? So I think my flake's going to weigh less than my banana. So that means the number needs to be smaller than 148. Okay, so as you can see, here is where my banana is. So if I think my chocolate bar weighs less, it should be back further to the 0. If it's more, it will start going round there. So let's take my banana out and make sure it's gone back to 0. So can you see? Sometimes you need to reset your scales. So there's a little button thing at the back. So let's just move that over to our 0. There we go. So we reset our scales. Are we ready to weigh our flakes? I'm carefully popping it in the top, children. Oh, now can you see? Now my banana was 148 and the pin was poking over here. Now my chocolate bar's in the top and it only moved slightly, and I would say that it weighs 32 grams. 32 grams. Now, some of your food items, just like my chocolate bar, if you look on the back of a packet, if you're weighing on a packet, can you see that number there? It says 32 and then it has a G. And that means this chocolate bar weighs 32 grams. And to check it, I popped it in my scale and can you see? It moved across and it's just past the 30, that little nodule there, and it's 32 grams. So if you're weighing packets and tins, before you weigh, see if you can find some numbers here that's got a G at the end, and that will tell you how much it is. And then see if actually they're right, because sometimes it might be a little bit wrong. And then my next one is my apple. So I've weighed my banana. My banana was heavier than my flake. My flake's the lightest. Now, do I think my apple is going to be heavier or lighter than my flake? I think my apple's going to be heavier because it's bigger. So I think it's going to be heavier. So let me move my computer down so you can see. So we're going to reset it. So make sure each time you're doing it, you reset the pin if you're using manual scales back to 0. Okay. I'm going to pop my apple in the top very carefully. Oh, wow. Can you see what happened there? So my chocolate bar was measuring 32. My banana was measuring 148. And my apple has gone past 150. So I'm going to say it's 152. My apple was 152. So that tells me that my apple was my heaviest item. Then it was my banana, and then my chocolate flake was my lightest. Okay, so today we are just working with the scales and we are going to find 5 or 4 different items, seeing is this heavier than this or is this heavier than this. I want you to be using lots of compare and talk today, and also working with your adult to see if you can find some of them numbers on your scales. Now, if you're using the electric scales, absolutely fine, but what's a bit easier using these ones is when you press the button, the number will come up and you'll be able to read it, whereas it's a little bit trickier using these house manual scales because you have to work out and you have to count along all the little dashes to see which number it is. You can use whichever ones you've got at home. And remember, like I said, if you haven't got a set of scales at home, please don't panic. Use your balancing scales again today using non-standard units. But instead of measuring your toys, you can measure your food items. Can't wait to see what you get up to. And I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow and telling you tomorrow's challenge. Okay, bye-bye for now.